The reason we do this is for the kids.
These kids have become our lives.
I lay awake at night and I worry about these kids.
We want them to know that we're still here and we still care.
I know the difference that a teacher who cares about you can make in a student's life, and I want to be that person.
Growing up, that I loved my teachers so much.
Education was just always a really big, important part of my life. I grew up, the child of a teacher.
My first year teaching was a 2013-2014 school year, and we got the phone call that my husband's brother, Jonathan, had taken his own life the day before he turned 16. I will never forget coming back that first Monday after I'd been gone for a week and walking up the sidewalk to the school, and I stopped and I looked around and I thought, how many Jonathans do I interact with every day and I don't even know? My main goal and my main passion as a teacher is that students would know that they are loved and that they are valued and that they are important.
My favorite thing about teaching is the relationships that I get to form with my students.
I love interacting with the students.
The hugs, the high fives, the drawings the kids give you.
I like getting someone from a place where they come in and they hate what we're gonna do. Like they hate math and they hate having to even think about it. I like getting them to a point where they don't hate it.
It's so awesome to be in a field where we can unite and work together for the good of society, for the good of our students, and for the good of making the future a better place.
Now more than ever, I'm proud to be a teacher.
I just want to tell you all thank you and keep up the great work.
It's being seen and it's appreciated.
I am just boss wicked proud of all my co-workers and my colleagues and all the teachers and professors, instructors who have had to flip an entire classroom and put it online so that we can continue to learn in some sort of capacity.
We hadn't really heard about anything. It was a little bit on the news. Kids started asking questions to me. They felt scared, and I just kept reassuring them, we're going to keep you safe. We're going to keep you healthy.
At first, we just knew we weren't going to be teaching that following week. And then they very quickly made the decision in Kansas that they were going to close schools for the rest of the year. And that was a really hard thing for me and for my staff because we hadn't seen our kids for a couple of weeks already because of spring break. And so there was no closure.
Still, coronavirus wasn't a huge thing here yet. And conferences came, and I was sitting with a family, and over the announcements, our principal says that conferences are ended for the night. The day before, when the kids were gone or leaving for the day, I just kind of rushed them out the door. I still feel really bad about that. I just wish that I could have given them a bigger hug before they walked out. Told them I loved them.
My phone rang and it was Leah, and my heart just dropped because I just knew then. So I answered it and she said, I have some bad news, and I was like, I don't want to hear it. And she said, we just got postponed.
Probably the first thing I thought of was those kids who I'd watched them spend so much time.
Easily 200 hours worth of rehearsal and background work and choreography and music and makeup and costumes and set building to then be like so close to that finish line and then be like, oh, we're gonna take the finish line away, go home.
We kept getting calls, well, now we're gonna wait 2 weeks. Now we're gonna be away for a month. And it just kept adding on and adding on.
We just were so sure we were gonna be able to go back. And then once school got canceled for the whole year, it was like, well, that sucks.
And then once it became clear that it was going to be a long term, my focus switched to more the class, less the thing that was supposed to happen the next day and that weekend, but more the things that were supposed to happen over the next 2 months.
One of the scariest things for me was just the unknown of not knowing what was going to happen, what was the rest of the school year going to look like.
When we first found out all about these COVID restrictions, I was hearing a lot of, oh, schools have shut down. There's no more education going on, but that's not true at all. We're still working every day. The kids are still learning every day.
I know that a lot of people feel like this is a vacation for teachers, but really my job would be so much easier if I was back in the classroom.
My concern was keeping the kids motivated.
One of the hardest things has been my office hours. I always feel like I have to respond right away. There's times it'll be, late at night and I'm like, I'll just read it and I'll respond in the morning, but that's not how I work.
The hardest thing about teaching now is bringing all of the supplies from school that you feel like you need to your home.
So I now have a storage room that looks like a preschool.
I have a little toddler running around the room when I'm trying to meet on the computer with the kids or the families.
It's stressful, but I can't not think about them all the time.
We've learned how to use Skype, FaceTime, Facebook, video messenger. We've tried to learn to do all of these different technology features because we're trying to make it easier for parents. So what parents are used to is what we're trying to adapt to.
The area that's worked really well actually is Snapchat. I was pretty anti-Snapchat in my classroom, but when we got into this situation, it was one of those deals where I thought, how do I kind of get them where they're at?
I thought, oh, let's totally do a show. This is going to be great. And it was a lot of work. We kind of assigned little monologues, and I gave them 2 weeks where we would kind of check in on Zoom and on Snapchat and rehearse them as best you can through a computer screen. And then they sent me the final video cutting, and I edited them together as best I can.
Buddy, the water's just fine. It's fine. The classroom is just fine. Everything is fine.
It was kind of a good kind of lead up toward the West Side Story live stream. Mr. Willie just spent hours kind of editing it together to create this thing so that we were able to show it to the community.
I decided that I wanted to do a class Zoom meeting with the kids, and I have never worked with Zoom before ever, so I was kind of nervous.
As you can imagine, it's total chaos with 17 3- and 4-year-olds all wanting to talk, and they know very well how to unmute themselves by now.
Gosh, it's just like everything's hard.
It's been very stressful, but I am now an expert on Google Classroom. I'm really excited.
I was doing drive-by sonnets, and I was stopping by my students' houses and reading them sonnets from their front yard. Like I would call them and say, hey, where are you? Well, I'm at my house. Okay, great. I need you to go to your second story if you have one and open the window, because really Shakespeare is best heard from a balcony.
We put signs up on the classroom windows so that as children, they drove by or they walked by, they would see that we missed them and we were saying goodbye and we'd see them soon.
We're still delivering meals, reaching out to students, and doing everything that we can to keep in contact with our families.
All the teachers just, as daunting as it seemed, have really stepped up and are providing what they can for the students.
The reason why I haven't given up when there are some days where it would feel like it'd be easier to is because I love these kids.
Even though some of the online learning isn't going as smoothly as we'd like, it's worth doing it to me to still have those connections with my students.
I just want them to know that if they feel like they're not getting it as much as they should, that I'm going to be there on the other end of it to make sure they do.
If any of my students or past students or kids that I've coached are watching this right now, just know that all your teachers love you and we miss you.
Guys, I know that this is a challenging time for you right now. Remember that we miss you and we love you, and I can't wait to see you again.
I'm just incredibly blessed and proud to be your teacher and to be able to watch you grow and fight through all that is the joys of COVID-19.
Look at how strong you guys are. Look at how much you've overcome.
I'm so proud of you and I miss you so much and I can't wait to see you again.